If you're looking at the 2025 Cadillac Optiq thinking it might finally be the affordable luxury EV everyone's been waiting for, hold up, because the story isn't that simple. Cadillac talks big, about 300 miles of range, a huge 33-inch display, Super Cruise that steers and changes lanes for you. But none of that matters if the real-world experience doesn't match the brochure. So today, I'll cut through the noise and show exactly what the Optiq delivers, what it doesn't, and whether it's actually worth the price. No fluff, just a mechanic breaking down whether this thing is a smart luxury buy or a compromise with a Cadillac badge slapped on the nose. Welcome to Car Today Reviews. Today, we're taking a hard look at the 2025 Cadillac Optiq and cutting straight to what actually matters. You'll get the specs that make a difference, the kind of driving impressions you only notice when you live with the car, the real charging math that tells you what ownership looks like day to day, and a clear buyer verdict for anyone in the US trying to decide if this is the luxury EV to get now or one to wait on. Revealed in 2024 and rolling into dealerships as a 2025 model, the Cadillac Optiq marks a new chapter for the brand. This is Cadillac's compact, entry-level electric SUV, built on GM's Ultium platform, and it's designed to bring the luxury EV experience to a wider audience. At first glance, it carries all the styling cues you expect from Cadillac: the sharp lines, the bold grille, and the instantly recognizable presence. But it does all of this in a smaller two-row package. What really sets the Optiq apart is the tech it packs into that compact frame. Cadillac pushes the boundaries here with a 33-inch curved display, a premium 19-speaker sound system, and Super Cruise, their hands-free driving technology. Then there's the headline figure everyone is looking at, roughly 300 miles of estimated range. On paper, it positions the Optiq as a serious contender in the luxury EV segment. But as always, the real-world experience tells a much richer story. This model isn't just another addition to the Cadillac lineup, it's arguably one of the most important. For many buyers, the Optiq is the first Cadillac they'll realistically consider, whether they're coming from a traditional gas-powered SUV or stepping up from a mainstream EV. That makes it a critical test for Cadillac. Can a smaller, tech-forward EV truly deliver the brand's promise of luxury, performance, and reliability? Or does it rely too heavily on its badge to justify the price? Over the next few minutes, we'll break down exactly where the Optiq shines, where it falls short, and whether it's actually worth the price. Let's dig into the numbers, because at the end of the day, specs are where you start separating marketing from reality. The standard 2025 Cadillac Optiq comes with an 85 kilowatt-hour nominal battery paired with a dual-motor all-wheel drive system. That setup delivers roughly 300 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. Numbers that aren't going to set any straight-line records, but they're more than enough for confident, everyday driving. Cadillac estimates the range at around 302 miles on select trims, which puts it squarely in the competitive zone for compact luxury EVs. Charging is another area where buyers need clarity. The Optiq supports public DC fast charging, and Cadillac claims you can gain up to 79 miles of range in about 10 minutes on a compatible charger. That's a strong marketing number, but in real-world conditions, peak charging rates will vary based on several factors: ambient temperature, state of charge, the type of charger, and how the battery management system regulates thermal loads. In short, the numbers look good on paper, but your experience on a long road trip will depend heavily on these variables. Cargo space and interior packaging also matter. The Optiq offers a practical two-row layout with enough room for daily hauling, groceries, or weekend gear. Cadillac hasn't published the full official cubic footage for every configuration, but it's competitive for its class. On screen, we'll overlay the key numbers so you can see battery, power, torque, range, charging, and cargo all at a glance. And remember, the full sources are listed in the description for anyone who wants to dig deeper.
Once you take the Optiq out on the street, the first thing you notice is how quiet it is. The cabin is well insulated and road noise barely intrudes, giving that calm, refined experience Cadillac promises. Every panel, every seam feels deliberate, and the overall NVH, noise vibration harshness, is excellent for a compact EV. It's the kind of quiet that makes city commuting feel less like a chore and more like a proper luxury experience. Steering is weighted for confidence rather than razor-sharp sportiness. It's predictable and composed through corners, but don't expect the car to fling itself around curves like a performance hatch. Acceleration is smooth and polite. In the dual-motor AWD setup, the 300 horsepower isn't going to leave you breathless, but it delivers consistent, usable power. Regen braking is well calibrated, strong enough to assist with energy recovery without feeling abrupt or jarring. This is a car built for daily driving comfort rather than straight-line fireworks. For highway miles, the real standout is the adaptive systems, especially Super Cruise. Lane changes and adaptive cruise control work seamlessly, reducing fatigue on longer drives. Whether you're merging onto a busy freeway or cruising through suburban roads, the technology feels integrated rather than gimmicky. The ride is composed, suspension absorbs bumps gracefully, and body control keeps the Optiq feeling planted without ever feeling harsh. For drivers who want pure performance thrills, the Optiq V is the variant to watch. But for most buyers, this standard model hits the sweet spot between comfort, control, and the refined Cadillac experience you expect from a luxury EV.
When it comes to an EV, range isn't just a number on a spec sheet. It's the measure that determines whether a car actually works in daily life. Cadillac quotes around 300 miles for the Optiq in its best-case trims, but real-world conditions always tell a different story. On mixed routes that combine city streets and highway driving, with the HVAC running and occasional bursts of acceleration, energy consumption tends to land in the ballpark of 3.0 to 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. That translates to a more realistic, usable range of roughly 200 to 280 miles per charge for most drivers. Factors like speed, temperature, and driving style make a significant difference. Pushing hard on the highway or driving in cold weather can drop efficiency, while smoother, moderate-speed city driving can preserve more of that claimed range. This is important for buyers who plan road trips or longer commutes. The numbers on paper give a headline, but the true experience is what defines whether the Optiq is practical for day-to-day life. Step inside the Optiq, and this is where the car really tries to impress. The 33-inch curved LED display dominates the dashboard, stretching from driver to center console and giving a sense of digital control that few competitors can match. Everything from navigation to climate, media, and vehicle settings is laid out across this expansive screen, and it's responsive, sharp, and easy to read at a glance. Cadillac clearly intended this to be the emotional centerpiece of the cabin, the wow factor that buyers notice first. The audio system reinforces that sense of luxury. Cadillac outfits the Optiq with a 19-speaker AKG system complete with Dolby Atmos, filling the cabin with detailed, immersive sound. Music, podcasts, or even navigation prompts come through with clarity and punch, which is a step above most vehicles in this segment. Seating is comfortable, supportive, and adjustable enough for long drives, while materials feel premium without going overboard, giving a sense of thoughtful refinement rather than ostentation. Tech integration is where the Optiq starts to make strategic choices. Google is built into the infotainment system, providing maps, voice commands, and app support. Super Cruise is included with a 3-year plan, making hands-free highway driving a genuinely useful tool rather than a gimmick. However, buyers coming from other EVs or expecting Apple CarPlay and Android Auto might feel some friction, as the experience is optimized for the Google ecosystem. It's a deliberate trade-off that will matter for some buyers more than others. Overall, the interior and tech combine to create a cabin that feels high-end, modern, and functional, with standout features that justify a premium badge. For those who value a seamless digital experience and advanced driver assist systems, this is where the Optiq earns its stripes. It's not just a display of tech for tech's sake, it's an integrated package designed to define the ownership experience from the moment you step inside. Charging is where the numbers on paper meet reality, and that's where some of Cadillac's marketing claims meet a closer look.
The Optiq supports fast DC charging, and Cadillac includes an NSAX adapter, giving access to Tesla superchargers, a smart move for convenience. On paper, the marketing slides promise you can add roughly 79 miles of range in about 10 minutes, but real-world tests show that peak charging rates are often lower than what Cadillac advertises. Compared to competitors that can hit 200 to 300 kilowatts, the Optiq's charging is competent, but not class-leading. On long highway trips, that means you'll be sitting at a charger a bit longer than you might with a faster-charging EV. Cost-wise, electricity is where things get simple. At an average rate of 20 cents per kilowatt-hour, fully recharging the 85 kWh battery costs roughly $17. That translates to about 5.5 cents per mile if you hit the claimed 300 miles of range. Of course, real costs vary based on local electricity prices, charger fees, and efficiency losses. It's not a massive number, but it's important for buyers calculating total ownership costs or comparing with gas-powered SUVs. Understanding both the time and money implications of charging is crucial because it shapes how practical the Optiq is for everyday use, especially for longer commutes or road trips.
Despite its compact footprint, the Cadillac Optiq proves to be surprisingly practical. With the rear seats folded, cargo capacity reaches about 57 cubic feet, giving enough room for weekend gear, grocery runs, or luggage for a small family. The two-row layout keeps the cabin manageable for city driving while still offering usable space for daily life. Rear legroom is reasonable for adults, and the seats fold relatively flat, making it easier to load bulkier items without struggling. That said, this is still a compact SUV, and buyers with larger cargo needs or who are looking for a third-row option will need to look elsewhere, perhaps at the Lyriq or Cadillac's larger SUVs. For urban commuters, small families, or those who prioritize efficiency without sacrificing a usable cabin, the Optiq strikes a solid balance between size, utility, and premium feel. It's not the largest in the lineup, but it's designed to fit the lifestyle of most city and suburban buyers without compromising the luxury experience. When it comes to value, the Cadillac Optiq sits in an interesting spot. Base MSRPs start in the mid-$50,000 range, which positions it as a relatively accessible entry point for a Cadillac EV. But as soon as you start adding options, destination fees, and higher trims, many builds easily climb north of $60,000. That puts the Optiq in the same price territory as larger EVs that offer more cargo space, faster charging, or slightly higher range. The key question for buyers is what you value most. If Cadillac's brand cachet, the quiet, refined cabin, and advanced systems like Super Cruise are important, then the Optiq can justify its price. It delivers a luxury experience that entry-level EVs can't quite match. On the other hand, for shoppers primarily focused on bang for your buck in terms of kilowatt hour, peak charging, or pure practicality, there are alternatives that offer more efficiency or capability at a lower price point. Understanding where the Optiq sits in this spectrum is crucial, because the premium badge comes with real advantages and some compromises you'll need to weigh carefully before buying. When you start comparing the Optiq to other vehicles in its class, the picture becomes a lot clearer. On one side, you have buyers who should seriously consider the Optiq, those who value the Cadillac badge, a refined and quiet interior, advanced driver assist technology like Super Cruise, and the kind of high-end features that make daily driving feel effortless. In that sense, the Optiq delivers an experience that mainstream EVs just can't match, and it hits that sweet spot of compact luxury with modern tech. On the flip side, there are buyers who might want to pause or look elsewhere. If your priority is fastest charging times, maximum cargo space, or the absolute best value for range per dollar, competitors like the Hyundai Ioniq 5, Kia EV6 or EV4, and even the Tesla Model Y might make more sense. The Optiq isn't the leader in raw numbers for range or charging speed, and its compact size limits cargo flexibility compared to larger SUVs like the Cadillac Lyriq. Another factor to consider is Cadillac's roadmap for 2026. Base RWD models and upgraded trims with higher performance are coming, which could provide better value or more capability. Buyers who aren't in a rush might benefit from waiting for these updates rather than committing to a 2025 model. In other words, the Optiq works best for those who prioritize luxury, technology, and brand over absolute performance or utility, while those focused on numbers and space might want to explore other options first. So, What's the final take on the 2025 Cadillac Optiq? Is it a smart luxury buy, or is it too compromised? For buyers who value brand prestige, a refined and quiet cabin, and advanced driver assist systems like Super Cruise, the Optiq delivers a genuinely compelling experience. It feels like a Cadillac through and through, with the kind of tech and comfort that makes daily driving effortless and enjoyable. In that sense, it's a smart luxury purchase for anyone prioritizing those qualities. On the other hand, if your main concerns are peak charging speed, maximum cargo space, or getting the absolute most miles per dollar, the Optiq has limitations you can't ignore. Its charging isn't class-leading, and its compact footprint restricts interior flexibility compared to larger SUVs like the Cadillac Lyriq. For buyers in that category, other models might offer better performance or practicality for the price. For those shopping today, the recommendation is clear. Buy the Optiq only if the trim, features, and price align with your needs. Otherwise, it may make sense to wait for Cadillac's 2026 updates, which promise RWD base models and upgraded trims with higher performance, or to cross-shop rivals that deliver faster charging, more cargo, or better range efficiency. In the end, the Optiq succeeds when it leans on what Cadillac does best: brand, comfort, and tech. But compromises are real and worth factoring into any purchasing decision. If you want the full spec sheet and a side-by-side comparison with the Optiq's main rivals, the link is waiting for you in the description. Make sure to subscribe to Car Today Reviews so you don't miss our upcoming Optiq V track test and the full breakdown of ownership costs, the videos that show you exactly what owning one looks like. Thanks for watching Car Today Reviews. Check out these suggested videos to see how the Optiq compares to other EVs, and hit subscribe for more expert reviews, detailed analysis, and everything you need to know before buying your next car.